This fight isn't about who's better, it's about who survives January 31st.
Shot at me, so I felt like it was a little bit of jealousy.
No, I just didn't give an F. That's all.
Cool.
I just didn't give an F about it at all.
Yeah, but when you said in the
ended
comments,
up-
you said something there. I think he's an attention seeker. So even with the racist comments, even with the homo stuff that he was doing, I think he's just a big attention seeker. He gonna do anything to get attention on him, and I think it's gonna backfire come January 31st.
Stylistically, he believes he's the best, and I know I'm the best, and that's why we're getting to this point now. He wants to challenge himself. I'm here.
Shakur Stevenson and Teófimo Lopez are set for a highly anticipated showdown on January 31st, and the boxing world is locked in. This clash brings together two contrasting styles: Shakur's elite defense, precision, and discipline against Teofimo's raw power, confidence, and relentless aggression. With both men entering at pivotal points in their careers, this confirmed matchup has quickly become one of the most talked about fights of the year.
It's cool. He's supposed to feel that way. Like, he's supposed to say the things that he's saying. He's not saying nothing out of the ordinary or something that I didn't expect. Only thing that I kind of took away, he got on a podcast, I want to say, he said that I was slow. And that's the part where I'm like, okay, he's going to be very surprised come fight night, to where it's like, you really thought I was slow? Like, is that something like you put in your brain and thought it was about to come?
Two tensions rise as Shakur Stevenson and Teófimo Lopez come face to face during heated press conferences, with Teofimo's father stepping directly into the verbal exchange. Shakur openly points out flaws he sees in Teofimo's game, dismissing the southpaw debate and arguing that records mean little without elite-level competition. Teofimo's father fires back, questioning Shakur's resume and insisting he still has much to prove on the biggest stage. Voices rise, tempers flare, and sharp words fly, turning the moment chaotic, personal, and intense, adding another layer of pressure and drama ahead of their January 31st collision.
I'm not none of them fighters. I think that he did some great things against them guys. I seen a lot of weaknesses in his game too, and something that he said earlier, he said, Tio never lost to southpaw. Well, I never lost to orthodox. So it ain't no different, but
the difference is you never fought no elite fighter.
Okay, I don't think y'all did either.
Oh, so you gotta show it, baby.
I don't think y'all did either.
It's not on my son.
I ain't see Lomachenko throw no punches.
You've never been on a big stage like this.
I didn't see Lomachenko.
Eddie Hearn praises Shakur Stevenson, calling him one of the most underrated fighters in boxing today. Despite success at both the amateur and professional levels, Hearn believes many fans and analysts fail to fully appreciate Shakur's technical mastery, speed, and ring intelligence. He highlights Shakur's consistency, adaptability, and relentless determination, stating that these qualities separate him from his peers.
Shakur is massively underrated in terms of his achievements and his ability. Everyone in boxing knows how good Shakur is. He is pound for pound, top 5 in terms of quality. But look at the achievements of the young man. At 28 years of age, he's already a 3-division world champion. This is to become a 4-division world champion. Quite remarkable. And Teofimo always rises to the occasion. Sometimes you see a little bit of a lackluster performance when he's not motivated, when there isn't kind of any legacy on the line. This is different. This is a sold-out Madison Square Garden between two of the elite fighters of our generation. And the best thing about this fight is
Rewritten, Roy Jones Jr. breaks down the matchup alongside Shakur Stevenson, emphasizing adaptability as the defining factor. Roy explains that fighters who move well create serious problems, and adjusting to movement is often the toughest challenge in boxing. Shakur responds by saying he won't rely on just one style. He's prepared to move, use angles, or stand his ground if necessary to secure the win. Roy praises Shakur's flexibility in past fights, noting that those qualities create elite matchups. He also warns that Teofimo can be dangerous when focused and capable of making in-fight adjustments. According to Roy, the outcome will depend on mindset, preparation, and execution, turning the fight into a high-level chess match if both fighters are locked in. Everyone sees power, but nobody sees the punch that ends the night.
I think you have a masterful foot game as well. And I think that's probably what's going to be to the hardest thing for him to adjust to. So how do you think he's going to adjust to that?
I don't want to give out too much. I don't want to give out too much. So,
Okay. All right.
well, I mean, we all know he had problems with people that move around the ring. He wanted
Mhm.
people to stand in front of them, and he could pick them apart when you stand right there in front of him. But I plan on doing. I mean, I'm not going to say the game plan, but I plan on doing a little bit of both. I don't
I got you.
plan on doing moving around. I don't plan on just standing in front. I plan on doing everything that it takes to win.
And I do applaud the fact that you did, like Andre just said, you did show people that you are versatile. You can do whatever is necessary to win a fight. This is the best, in my opinion. These are the best type of fighters to see. And Teofimo has shown sometimes that he can also be versatile and he can do whatever's necessary. Just sometimes he seems to have mental issues that
Rewritten. Analysts have recently been questioning the state of boxing, pointing out how promotion and hype often fail to match reality. A major example is the heavily anticipated February 2025 card, once called the best in boxing history, only to fall apart due to injuries and pullouts. Shakur Stevenson was left facing an unknown opponent as several marquee fights collapsed. This has raised concerns about how events are marketed and how hype affects credibility. Analysts also criticized Dazen and The Ring for failing to properly promote Shakur's bout featuring Teófimo Lopez. Despite the skill level on paper, poor promotion and mismatched expectations risk causing high-quality fights to be overlooked, exposing serious flaws in boxing's business model.
And to do that and then not even promote the fight, this is a cool fight. I don't understand. Like, to me, it's a bit bizarre because the fans came out and they were like, man, Turkey, he's taking over the game. Remember last year, about a year ago, in February of 2025, he had the card with Better Biev and Beevil and whoever else was on it. And the card was announced, and people said, this is the best card that we've ever seen in boxing history. Then the fight card came. Shakur's opponent pulled out, Floyd Schofield. Daniel Dubois pulled out of the fight, right? Because he was sick. And it wasn't this legendary card that people talked about. You know what I mean? And people, now no one even says that now. Before they were talking about like, oh, it's the best card boxing's ever seen. And then the card happened and it kind of just came and went. It wasn't the card that they said it was going to be. Put it that way. So that's the point I'm making in this video is like a lot of the preconceived notions that you guys put out, not Boxing Ego. I ain't put that out on my channel, right? But a lot of the stuff y'all said turned out to be cap. Here's the card in question, bro. They're like, this is the best card we've ever seen. And then half of the fights, the two of the top three fights didn't even go off as planned because of injuries and sicknesses and pullout. And Shakur ended up fighting an electrician that no one ever heard of except for UK blokes.
Rewritten, Floyd Schofield sends a blunt message to Shakur Stevenson, questioning the legitimacy of the hype surrounding certain fighters. He criticizes fantasy matchups, noting that neither Tank Davis nor Shakur has faced the top four opponents of their era despite years of fan demand. Schofield argues that many highly discussed fights are unrealistic and don't reflect the true landscape of the sport. He also addresses criticism of fighters' physiques, emphasizing that body type doesn't determine skill or success. Schofield urges Shakur to face strong competition like Khan before moving up in weight, stressing that legacy is built through real challenges, not hype, records, or avoidance.
Shakur haven't fought none of the top four of his era for the last, how many years they've been calling for them fight? These dudes not fighting like that. So that's fantasy fights, thinking, oh, Keyshawn gonna go all the way up and fight Devin. And man, that's fantasy stuff. That's all that stuff is. And
You even said that he was like cut up and shit, you know what I mean? On that, what you said, snack?
I said I said I respect. Oh, do you mean a thick? What you talking about?
Keisha.
Yeah, Keyshawn got stocky. He got stocky, but he gotta stockiness don't mean nothing. Stockiness don't mean I hope we get to fight Keyshawn before he go to 147. 140 Keyshawn would be a good fight for Kid. I think
Oh, is that why
Keyshawn.
you upset?
I think
Is that why you upset because he's leaving?
I'm never upset. I'm not upset telling the truth about these guys leaving and running. I said it years ago what was gonna happen. People told me I was lying. Oh, y'all capping, y'all ain't gonna fight Keyshawn. I said, Keyshawn ain't fighting us. I said, Shakur ain't fighting us. Yeah, we lined up for Shakur. We didn't pull out, it's a fact. Why won't we get the fight when he got out the hospital? It wasn't his fault. He trained hard. He did everything else. Somebody tried to kill him. And the toxicology showed that. Why wasn't a real champion want to give this young man a fight who really stepped up to the plate to fight him and went through all this adversity to make it there and somebody poisoned him? He deserved a shot to fight. But that wasn't like that there. And it's for a reason. So, I found out this shit is just smoke and mirrors, man. Has nothing to do with boxing. Has a lot to do with the money made behind the scenes. So, I know Shakur better step it up, or that's boring for boxing. So they're not going to keep him. Even if he win, if that fight continued.
Rewritten, analysts. AK and Barak break down the Shakur Stevenson versus Teófimo Lopez matchup by highlighting the contrast in their journeys and mentalities. Shakur is portrayed as relentlessly driven, shaped by elite amateur foundations, and now chasing pound-for-pound greatness and a place among boxing's all-time legends. Teofimo, while immensely talented, has faced personal struggles and motivational lapses that at times pushed him away from the sport. Analysts suggest these challenges could either fuel a dangerous comeback or expose vulnerabilities against a focused opponent like Shakur. With Shakur's consistency, elite sparring experience, including work with Bud Crawford, and competitive edge, he presents a serious threat. Meanwhile, Teofimo's recent resurgence shows he's ready for a high-stakes, unpredictable war.
He's a kid that has always wanted to be considered the best in the sport. From the amateurs till now, he wants to be pound for pound top dog. He wants to be on Mount Rushmore, so on and so forth. Teofimo, I feel that he's had that passion, right? But he's had lapses to at times where he thought about even quote unquote retired and said he was done with this game. He's had, sometimes, at times issues with his father that, they've been able to reconcile and move on, but kind of lost some passion for the sport because of the way he was treated. Now, I don't know if that helps you because it creates this chip on your shoulder as a fighter to keep continuing to prove the world wrong that you are one of the best, or if it psychologically affects you against a guy like Shakur.
Yeah, I think a guy when you go against a guy like Shakur reminds me of Bud Crawford. You can't have those lapses. You can't have that kind of mindset. And I think, Teo's been very vocal about the things that he struggled with. And, he was going through a divorce and all of these things were making it really, really hard for him to focus on his first love. But that's the thing. Recently, he said he came back to his first love. He remembers that this is what got him everything he has. And he's back in love with boxing. And that's what we've been wanting to hear. And when we see a Teo like that, he's sharp against Josh Taylor. When we see a Teo like that, he's sharp against Lomachenko and also willing to fight all these guys. Now think about this. I know we call big, heavy punches the boogeyman, but usually the boogeyman is the guy that's hard to beat. And Shakur,
Stevenson says dominance is his goal every time he steps into the ring. Regardless of the opponent, he wants performances so clear that judges have no room for doubt or controversy. Carrying a constant chip on his shoulder, Shakur is driven to prove he's among the very best of his era. He believes a decisive win here would place him firmly in the top 5 pound-for-pound rankings and establish him as one of boxing's 4 kings. Shakur also addresses Teófimo Lopez's controversial behavior, calling it attention-seeking and predicting it will backfire on fight night. While he has spoken with Floyd Mayweather, he clarifies it wasn't strategic, just conversation. His focus remains on action, not words, letting skill, speed, and discipline define his legacy.
But do I gotta be dominant? I think every fight that I set up, I want to be dominant. I don't care who in front of me. I want to dominate. I want to beat you to where judges don't feel like they can rob me. So I always got that feeling. I always got that chip on my shoulder.
If you do win this fight, what do you think it does for your career?
I think it put me top 5 pound for pound. I think it puts me like one of the best fighters in my era. I think it just established that I'm that guy. Like, I'll be one of the 4 kings that they call the Four Kings, and it also depends on the fashion that I do it. So it's gonna be interesting.
But what be going on with this Tio dude though, man? I be seeing these videos online of him making racist comments. You be seeing that, man?
I think he's an attention seeker. So even with the racist comments, even with the homo stuff that he was doing, I think he's just a big attention seeker. He gonna do anything to get attention on him, and I think it's gonna backfire come January 31st.
And I heard you say that you and Floyd spoke about this fight.
No, I ain't really asked him advice about the fight. When I talk to him, we talk about different things, but he just was telling me that I should be the A side in the fight.
Andes drops a reality check for Teófimo Lopez, stating that Shakur Stevenson's true power lies in his speed. While some believe Teofimo's size, athleticism, and explosiveness give him the edge, Andes reminds fans that Shakur has successfully outboxed larger opponents, even light heavyweights, through movement and precision. He warns that underestimating Shakur's timing and accuracy can be dangerous, as the shots you don't see often hurt the most. Andes predicts the fight may go the distance and end in a decision, but cautions that one mistake, running into Shakur's punches, could change everything. Speed, IQ, and precision make Shakur dangerous at any weight.
People think, a lot of people say it's going to be easy and all that. Nah. Teofimo can punch and he can box. And like I said, he's real athletic. So, that'll make it a little difficult right there. You know what I mean?
I see a lot of people going back and forth with it. Some people think Tio got the advantage because of the weight and that he's athletic and explosive. Some people say Shakur is the better boxer.
Yes.
Right? How you see that fight ending?
Well, they saying, they've got the weight and all that. I see Shakur box big guys, light heavyweights and all that stuff. Just like moves. He box heavyweights and put heavyweights down. You know what I mean? I think that's the right move for him. You know what I mean? Get up, and I think he can really do good at that weight.
This isn't a stoppage.
I'm looking at a decision, not a stoppage. But then all according how Tio come in. Tio come at him. He gonna run some shots. It might be over. You know what I mean?
Now, you always tell me it's the shot that you don't see coming. That's it. That power is speed.
Right.
So could it be a situation where people underestimate Shakur's punching power?
Yeah. I think Shakur can punch. I think he can punch. It's just like I said, speed is power. Not them guys, muscle-bound guys come in and do something.
By the end of this video, you'll realize the real danger in this fight isn't strength, it's timing. That wraps up today's video. Stay locked in for more coverage. Until next time.